Today on the Quantum Wealth Podcast, I am so excited to have a good friend and amazing coach, Denise Perkins. Denise is a productivity and results coach. She is the creator of the Mindful Productivity Method, a framework that helps female entrepreneurs turn big ideas into clear, executable plans. After 2 decades building businesses, including a six-figure real estate career and growing her own coaching company while raising 3 kids, Denise realized success isn't about doing more, it's about focusing on the right things. Through her mindful productivity method, she helps women get their shit together, strategy, habits, implementation, and transformation so they can create consistent results without sacrificing the life they want. Welcome to Quantum Wealth, Denise. So happy to have you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'm so excited to be here.
Yay. So a lot of the work that you and I do overlaps, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like there's so many good conversations to have. But what I really want to dive into first and talk about is your framework, your
Okay.
signature framework. So tell me about why you created this, what it is, all the things.
It came out of, my journey, right? Which most things do, right? And I love, love, love working with female entrepreneurs as a female entrepreneur. And the more networking I was doing in this space, I was hearing a lot of the same messages over and over again about overwhelm. And these aren't even words that even really describe it, right? It's overwhelming and everyone's always distracted and there's so much to do. And I just want to grow my business and I'm struggling knowing what to focus, what to prioritize. And I had a system in my business that I had been using for so many years in my real estate business. And as I transitioned over to being a coach of realtors at the time, I was using all of these systems again in my business. And as I was talking to other female entrepreneurs, what do you got going on over there? And I was like, I'm just doing this stuff over here. And I kind of created this system out of what I already was doing in my business. And mindful productivity is really about focusing on that big picture vision and making sure that we're focusing on the right things and staying in alignment with why we started our business in the first place. And then identifying what those things are so that we can prioritize the right things to grow our business versus just doing all the things that everyone says we should be doing. And so that's where the mindful part of it comes in. And I like to call it where the woo meets the do because I am all about mindset. And the system that I coach my realtors on was built on that. It's called the Ninja Selling System, and it was mindset, skill set, and relationship building. And so it's like bringing in how we show up every day and connecting it to our skills, but then also focusing on building the relationships in our business. So that's a little bit about mindful productivity.
I love it because when you hear productivity coach and getting shit
Mhm.
done, people don't necessarily think of being mindful. At least
Nope.
I wouldn't or didn't.
No.
And so I love that you combine this. And what I think is so similar is what you say and what I say all the time is like, why did you build your business to begin with? Right?
Yeah.
Going back to the actual why and what matters to you and what's important.
Mhm.
And then what you do, which is so hard for entrepreneurs, at least my clients that come in, is focusing on the stuff that moves the needle, right? The
Yes.
stuff that
Yes.
actually matters.
Yep. So true. That's exactly the trouble. And there's so many distractions out there, right? There's so many different ways you can run your business, and someone's telling you you should do this or you should do that. And where I like to come in and support my clients is you shouldn't do anything that you don't want to do because I guarantee you there's so many other ways you can run your business. And you want to remember why you started it and keep in alignment with that. And it's so important to keep that connection in our business so that we don't just have another job. That's not why we started our business. We have passion. We love what we're doing. We did it for a reason. And what happens if we aren't being productive on the right things and knowing what to prioritize, suddenly we're doing shit we don't want to do. And our businesses become something that we don't even recognize anymore. And we're not even doing the thing that we started our business for in the first place. And there's resentment and there's frustration. And you're like, wait, that's not why I'm here. That's not why I started this thing.
It's so relatable. And I mean, that's definitely what I did when I started to grow my business is I got so caught up in doing all the things. And something I notice with my clients a lot is that they want to be the person that does everything.
Yeah.
So where do you think that comes from and why is it so hard for entrepreneurs to like release it, let go?
There's a ton of reasons, but I think that it's your baby. You built this is my thing, and no one else can do it how I can do it. You hear that all the time. It's that control. But they aren't going to do it the right way, or they're going to not do it exactly the way. Yeah, no kidding. And that's not sustainable. You can't do it all, and you shouldn't do it all. And all of these other little parts of our businesses isn't the reason why you started your business. So why you can't let it go is it's control, it's scarcity. We talk a lot about I can't spend money on that. I can't pay somebody to do that. I can just do it myself. And that's a colossal waste of money. And smart CEOs and smart business owners don't do that. I remember this from the book The Big Leap. I don't know if you've ever read that, but
Yeah.
Gay Hendricks talks about this guy who's, yeah, I can fix my printer. And he spends like hours and hours trying to fix his printer. And he asks me, like, how much an hour do you charge people to work with you? And he's like, $1,500 an hour. And he's like, you just spent $3,000 of your time trying to fix your printer when you could have probably spent less than 100 to have somebody fix your printer for you. So it's just kind of reframing that for ourselves and that we don't have to do it all. Where does it come from? I mean, I think we're all maternal givers and we want to do all the things and take care of everything. And there's many layers to it, Jillian.
Always, right? It's so much deeper. One thing that clients always say to me, like you said, is no one's going to do it like me.
Yeah.
And you have to let go of that right here, right now, if you
Yeah.
want to accomplish your big goals.
Yeah.
Of course, they will.
And if you also do a really good job of articulate, maybe someone can do it darn near close to what you're doing. And if you do a good job, if you have a lot of clarity, when I coach, it's like when you have a ton of clarity and you've got the step by step of what you're doing, there's a really good chance someone could do darn near exactly what you want. And then the more someone works with you, they're going to get better and better. It's about us having the courage to ask for the help and then do a really good job of it. And that's where being a leader comes in too.
Mhm.
Also a part of being a CEO that not we don't it's not inherent. Like we don't all know when we start our business, we have our passion for the thing that we do. We don't necessarily aren't really great bosses maybe necessarily to somebody. And it's learning some new skills really is at the end of the day.
Because being a CEO is a different skill set than being the entrepreneur who just made themselves a job that's doing all the
Yeah,
things.
who's the doer, who's the operator. And if you want to grow your business, you can't stay in that space.
Because what my clients, when they come to me at least, they might be in that space and they're doing fine, but then they're burnt out because you can
They're
only
doing
do that
fine. Do
for
we
so
want to be
long.
fine?
Yeah, no, exactly, right?
Yes. And yeah, they're burnt out. And that next level, that scaling is incredibly hard to achieve if we don't ask for help and kind of reframe who we are in our business, what our role is in our business. We're the visionary, we're the one who gets to make the decisions and build what we want to build. We have to let some stuff go if that's going to happen.
So how do you get your clients to actually let things go?
It's a process, isn't it?
Of course.
I mean, I have to work on it all the time too. But the most important thing and kind of where we start is identifying what is it that you're holding on to? Why are we holding on to that? Is that something that you have to do? Are you the only person that can do that thing? And then it's then getting super, super clear of where we want to go in our business. What's your vision? What is the journey that you want to be taking? What's the next steps? And then I help, my whole premise is building 90-day goals and then just breaking down that bigger vision into 90-day increments. And it's again getting super, super clear. Okay. And then these are the only things that we're going to be working on right now. And sometimes it's finding a person to delegate XYZ to. That's my 90-day goals and building a system. And so a lot of times when I first start with people, that's the work we have to do and making sure that we are scheduling time to be the CEO. because it's really easy to be working in our business all the time. I got to do this and this, and that's that operator mode, that's a taskmaster. And to step back and actually look at our business from a bird's eye view is a really scary. Oh crap. And then learning how to delegate is really hard. Like I was just saying before, it's that control. It's like you have to have a lot of clarity. So we start with developing the clarity and then breaking that clarity down into bite-sized pieces and then just kind of continuing on in that way. One of the things we do is just have a weekly meeting with yourself. I call it my CEO meeting, and I reflect on what's working, look at what I have to do this week, and that is the only thing I'm doing this week are those things and not worrying. I mean, there's a place for ideas, there's a place for that next thing, and making sure there's a home for it, I guess you could say.
I think that sometimes when we're so caught up in the big vision, at least when my clients come to me, they have really big goals, really big visions, and it takes breaking it down and making it so much smaller
Oh,
to even start that. So I think that's why
yes.
your 90-day plan is so important because
Yeah.
it's really overwhelming when you look at big goals, but like, how do you eat an elephant one bite at a time, right?
Yeah,
Like, you have to break it
absolutely.
down. Yeah.
And when you have that really big goal, our minds instantly go to how is that going to happen? That's the first thing our brains do is I can't do that because how am I even going to do that? Look at me right now. I'm like, I can't even do the things I'm doing. And so then we get into that spiral, which just feels demoralizing almost,
Mhm.
right? It's just like a bummer. And so a lot of my conversations are like, okay, but do you have to do that right now? Is that something that has to happen? What's going to happen if you do a really good job of asking those questions too? What
Yeah.
if this, right? It's just breaking it down and identifying it.
How did you learn to delegate in your own business?
Oh, I'm still a work in progress.
Aren't we all?
I do not claim to be an excellent delegator. I will not say that I am honestly working on it. I have to be very mindful and strategic and be like, okay, I don't need to do this. And part of that is my practice of doing my CEO meeting, my practice of doing my 90-day plan. Then I can be like, okay, what are the things that only I can do?
You know what's so funny is most people struggle with delegating. And
Yeah.
I think because I didn't start as a solopreneur, I worked backwards. I had a whole team and then
Lucky
became a
you.
solopreneur. I'm always like, wait, there's no one to delegate this to. And just by nature, like my mom called me when I was little, like the Tom Sawyer. Like I would get everyone to do everything for me. So when people struggle with delegating, it's so common. And I'm like so quick to delegate everything. Let's talk a little bit about the entrepreneurs that are doing all the things. They're stuck at the same level and they really want to grow their business because that's
Mhm.
who I really help and kind of who you help too, right?
Yeah.
Just they're
Yes.
looking for different paths to get there maybe.
Yeah.
But what's the productivity piece that you usually find that they're missing?
Oh, it's not just one.
Pieces.
I mean, and again, how this is built is it's the framework. It's that we're throwing spaghetti at a wall and we don't have a system or a plan. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs and a lot of people get about a system or structure because they feel like it takes away from their creativity or, oh, but I'm an entrepreneur and I'm intuitive and I blah, blah, blah. But I am here to tell you 110% that when you have a system and some structure, you have way more freedom, be more creative when you know what you're doing on a regular basis. Yeah, so I would definitely say that that what most people are missing is that system and that framework where they know, okay, this is what I need to do today. This is what I need to do in the next 90 days. And looking at their business on a consistent basis. And that's part of the system. And we do this every 90 days. It's the end of the quarter. What we're doing in my 90-day program the next 2 weeks is our quarterly review. We're looking at, okay, where was I? Did I hit these goals? If I didn't, okay, why? Let's examine why. And so it's that exploration, it's that reflection on what's working, what's not working. That's part of my system. And I feel is so crucial for business success because if you're not doing that, you could potentially be pounding your head against a wall doing the same thing over and over again. That's not working. Well, why isn't this working? I don't know. Let's look at it.
And if you're just doing all the time without kind of stopping to look and review your
Mhm.
90 days and look at your
Mhm.
goals and analyze
Mhm.
where you are, Tell me what you see and how that's blocking people.
If you're not doing that on a regular basis,
Yeah, they're just doing all
um,
the things without stopping to pause.
it sort of stunts your growth a little bit and it burns you out. It just makes it super, super hard to grow and hard to level up. And you're not the leader of your business. You're an employee, really.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, if we're not being strategic and we're not looking at our business in that mindset, in that practical way, it's incredibly difficult to do much else. And if you're fine in this space, cool. But most people who we're working with are usually like, I really want to do more. And you
Yeah.
get stuck in that cycle, and it's going to be a challenge to get out of it.
What would you say the most common goal or problem that clients come to you with is?
Just not knowing what to prioritize, or I want to do all of these things, and just feeling scattered and like they're not accomplishing anything. And they get to the end of the week and you're like, what did I do? What did I even accomplish this week? And just that kind of that stunted progress. And or here's another big one. It's like you have that big project that you want to do. I really want to launch that course, or I really want to do that workshop, or I want to write the book. And it's been on my list for 5 years. And I can say this because I have a client who that when she came to me, she had her book on her list for 5 years. And I just got notification like an hour ago that it's coming to me next week. Like it's on Amazon and it's like the most exciting thing in the world,
Oh,
right?
so amazing.
Yeah, so it's those bigger projects and it's that feeling of oh, like that and burnout because you're working so much in your business that you're not doing the things that you love to do in your business. And so you're having trouble, you're burnt out, but you're also having trouble scaling and growing because you're doing too much in your business.
So, what's the first thing you have your clients do if they're brand new to your work?
Kind of find out where are you struggling? What is your
Yeah.
biggest pain point? What are you spending your time doing? I have this thing called align time, and I make them take a snapshot of a week in their life. Where are you spending your time? It's a calendar audit basically. And there's action time. I have it over here. Action time, leverage time, intention time, grind time, and noise time. And you track, okay, what am I doing? When am I doing what? And so when we know where we're spending our time and what our overwhelm is, what our pain points are, then we have to get super clear. Where do I want my business to go? What do I want to be doing? What is the thing that lights me up? What's my goal for the next 12 months? Like next year at this time, where do I want my business to be? Because that's our roadmap.
Yeah,
Because that's
absolutely.
how we get there. Because if we don't know where our business wants to, and a lot of people are like, I don't know. I'm like, we need to think about it because
Yeah.
there's zero planning if we don't know where we're going. You don't go to the location and not put the address in for the GPS, or you're driving around all the time.
Yep.
So
That's
you have to
exactly
have,
the analogy I use with my
yeah,
clients.
right. Yeah. It's like you have to have the location, you have to have the plan in order to make the plan. So then we have our vision, and then we start reverse engineering it and we break it down. Okay, three goals, three manageable, doable, smart goals. What am I going to do in the next 90 days? And then we back out those tasks, what that looks like. Is it,
Yeah. Do you ever find that, because I see this a lot in my work, that if someone is in scarcity around their money, they're also in scarcity around their time?
oh, for sure.
So how
Yeah.
often do people, when they come to you and they're like, I'm doing everything, are they telling you, I just don't have the time?
Yes, I don't have time. I'm so busy. I am a disliker of the word busy.
Yeah.
I like to say my life is full. I had a very full week because busy to me, I feel like a lot of people wear busy as a badge of honor. Oh, I'm so busy in my business. And I think I probably don't like that because like a lot of realtors were always like that. And they're always like, I'm so busy. And you're like, really? I mean, are you busy doing the right things though? Are
Yeah.
you busy doing things that you enjoy? And maybe you are, right? There's many reasons I don't like the word busy.
How do you shift people? Look, I was the
Yeah.
busiest person and like
Yes.
thought that meant that I was doing
Yes.
things right and that
Badge of
my
honor.
business was going to be successful because I was busy until
Yes.
I realized that wasn't serving me. So how do you shift people out of that time scarcity?
I kind of remind that again, it goes back to building that framework and reminding them what's our purpose and what's our personal mission statement. And when we know what our whys are in our business, 9 times out of 10, it doesn't include working 24/7, hardly ever. Like we're doing it for a reason. And when we know what our core values are, gosh, my core value is my family. Okay, then why are you killing yourself? One of the very first steps in the Mindful Productivity Masterclass is building your personal mission statement and identifying your whys. And that is the first step of shifting us out of that time scarcity. And then again, talking a lot about should you be doing that? And I use the term shoulding on ourselves, and we do that a lot. I should be doing this, I should be doing that. I'm like, but really? Do you need to be doing all of that? And then when we can connect that to like where we want to go and getting clear, that starts to kind of break that mold a little bit of not having the time because you probably have the time. Where else are you spending your time?
That's
That's
what it is.
effective.
The
Like that
time.
aligned time exercise that you do. Did you just open your phone and 20 minutes later realize that you don't even know why the hell you opened your phone in the first place? And you're like, oh, wait, what was I doing?
Yeah.
So it's kind of identifying those kinds of things.
Whenever someone tells me they don't have the time, I ask them to look at how often they're scrolling. And that
Mhm.
basically stops them dead in their tracks because
Yeah.
we all spend time doing things that don't actually matter and don't align with our values. And once we realize that, it can snap us kind of out of that time scarcity real quick. So my listeners are really trying to make more money. They're trying to grow
Yeah.
their business. They're trying to quantum leap their income. They don't have small goals. They have big goals. What would the one piece of advice
Mm.
be that you gave them to help them change their income in 90 days, since that's your
Yeah.
quarterly planner?
Get super clear on what you want to do in the next 90 days and only focus on that.
Ooh, so good. So
I mean,
simple and so good,
yeah.
right?
What is the goal that I mean, and again, you can have three. It's okay. And committing to these are the only tasks that I'm going to work on. These are the only goals I'm going to try to achieve. And these are the simple tasks that I'm going to do every single week to make that happen with a cadence of making a plan for yourself every single week and being really super clear, staying in alignment with that. And because connecting to our business is what's going to help us to in knowing our purpose and our and why we're doing what we're doing is going to help us to do that. And because when we've got that clarity, it's just all kind of like falls into place together. I feel, and but yeah, it's being super almost strict with yourself that this is what I'm going to focus on, and it's working.
What's the biggest transformation you've seen in a client in 90 days?
I have two clients actually, who one's been working with me longer, but in the 90 days is a client that says she signed more contracts than she's ever signed in her business in like the first quarter of the year. And she signed two contracts that equaled $16,000. And she totally attributed it to just being super clear. She also went to my retreat and
Yeah.
just being really focused and conscientious. And she had a lot of reframes about her being the CEO of her business. And she hired a bookkeeper and she hired a I mean, she like came out of that. She had been looking at her business as kind of like, oh, I just do this on the side thing.
Uh,
But deep down she wanted to grow it. And then when she realized how successful she was becoming and she was working with me, she had this reframe of, okay, this is me and this is how I can show up totally differently. And
yeah.
it was just like,
Oh, so amazing. Love that.
yeah.
It's that embodiment.
So, oh, it just gives me chills thinking about it. It's just, it like makes me so happy because she's amazing at what she does.
I talk a lot about like giving and receiving. You have to let the money
Mm.
go to know, like money is energy, it likes to move. So do you notice that too, that when clients are willing to let things go, when they're willing to spend money, when they're willing to invest, that it comes back to them so much more
Yeah.
easily?
Absolutely. And I'm so glad you say that because that's a really good thing that I can communicate too. Because there is so much scarcity around getting help and paying other. It's just me. I'm just bootstrapping it. I'm like, yeah, all of us are. And I promise you, I mean, I have these crazy stats about people making so much more money when they delegate it out, when they outsource, because then you are doing the thing that you're meant to do because you're working on your business and doing the making money thing because someone
Mm.
else is doing all the other BS, right?
Yeah.
So let's make sure we stay in our lane.
What's one belief about productivity that you wish entrepreneurs would just release for good?
That it's not about how much you're doing, and it's not about your to-do list, and it's not about checking things off a box. It is about being in alignment with not output, but where you want to go and how you want to live, quite honestly. Because, I mean, my productive one day, as far as checking things off a list, is totally different than a different day. And it just depends on what space I'm in, what's important to me that day. And that was the thing that I recognized a long time ago, is that my productivity has nothing to do with output. It has to do with me internally, and when I'm aligned to my core values and where I'm going in my business and in my life, I'm incredibly productive.
Yeah.
Because A, I'm doing things that I love with people I love, with people I enjoy, and that to me is productivity.
So beautiful, and tends to be such a challenge for women.
Yeah. Yeah, we put a lot on ourselves. We put a lot on our plate. We have a lot of shoulds,
Yeah.
and letting go of that is sometimes, a lot of times, pretty challenging.
Yeah, absolutely. Denise, one question I ask everyone who's on the podcast is, what is
Mm,
wealth to you?
freedom.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is the freedom to live my life on my terms, do the things that I want to do that brings me joy, that I can do for other people, that I can give back, that I can support other female entrepreneurs, that I can support my children, guiding and teaching them, being able to guide and teach them that they can do whatever.
Love that. Beautiful. Thank you so much for being here. I love talking about all the business stuff. I'd spend so much
Mhm,
time talking about the mindful piece and the
mhm.
woo. And so, like,
And
to
the
get
will.
into the nitty-gritty of the business is so fun and something that is just a part of what I do, but I love it so much. Tell our listeners where they can find you.
On the gram, I'm the Denise Perkins, and I have a website, deniseperkins.com. And I do a monthly workshop that guides you into being the CEO that I hope that you can embrace and step into, called Plan Like a CEO. And I also have my next 90 Days Results Accelerator. Every quarter, you can join us, and I will help you get your shit done.
Love it. Amazing. We will link all of that in the show notes so
Thank
that
you.
people can find you and sign up. If you have big goals, Denise is the woman to help you get your shit together and accomplish your goals.
I'm here for it. I can't wait.
Yes, awesome. Thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely, anytime.
And until next week, everyone, happy manifesting. That's a wrap on today's episode. If you're still here, I know you're serious about quantum leaping your income, and that commitment is what separates the dreamers from the doers. Here's what I want you to do next. Pick one insight from today and take action on it. Because here's the thing, transformation happens in the implementation, not just the inspiration. If this episode shifted something for you, please rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you listen. It helps other ambitious, heart-centered women find the show. And if you're ready to take this work deeper and finally break through that income plateau, I'd love to invite you to book a discovery call with me. Because here's the thing, podcasts give you the what, but coaching gives you the how. It's what takes you from, I know what I should be doing, to, holy shit, I actually did it. Head to the show notes or to jillianminter.com to grab your spot on my calendar. Until next week, keep choosing abundance over scarcity, alignment over hustle, and remember, you're meant for more. You just have to believe it's yours.